Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome, and thank you so much for joining. It's me again, Lean Al-Turkmani. I will be the host today for the third episode of the Student World Talks. What is the Student World Talks? It is a series of lives where every week we bring a new institution to tell you all about its opportunities, scholarship opportunities, programs, and all the chances for you so you can take advantage of them and pursue education. And just we know that you have the dream of studying abroad, so we want to help you. We want to give you options, and we really want to give you all the options in the easiest way possible because we know finding universities, researching universities, and comparing them is not an easy process. So we want to make it more fun for you by having these lives, having a simple chat with the guests, and just really presenting the information in a very interacting way with you. So before we introduce the guest, I always like to start the live by just knowing more about you, about who's watching. So I live in Canada. If you guys remember, and if you watched the previous episode, I was also the host. I introduced myself and I said that I live in Canada, but I want to know more about you. Where do you guys live? And just more about you. Have you, and also just tell me if this is the first time if you, that you watched the Student World Talks. So, hello, we have a lot of people already. This is truly very exciting. Come on, guys, tell me, where are you from? Where are you watching from? Where are you joining from? So we have people from Morocco. Oh, that's amazing. I mentioned this last time, I'm also from the Middle East. I speak Arabic. I'm from Syria. From India. Okay, now I'm getting a lot of comments. So Elizabeth from Indonesia and Daniel from Peru, Venezuela. Oh, we have a lot of people from Venezuela. From Philippines, Algeria. We have from Egypt. First time here. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Gabrielle from Mexico. We have from South Africa. That is so exciting. I'm so happy to know that people from all around the world are joining and really taking this opportunity to find options for themselves. And this is what you really need to do in order to study abroad. You have to always keep looking around, researching, and for you to be able to find the best options out there. So yeah, I wish I have the time to read all those beautiful comments and destinations, but Nigeria, India again. That's really awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to comment. Where are you coming from? So just like how you commented now and told me where did you come from, I want you to keep commenting throughout the live. Keep asking questions, sharing with us your ideas, sharing with us your plans of studying abroad. I will be here. I will be looking at the comments, interacting with you, and at the same time asking our lovely guests more questions about the institutions that I will be introducing in a few seconds. But before I do that, I just want to remind you to like this video and also subscribe to our channel so you can be able to see more of our videos and more of our content. Check the previous lives and episodes, and also always stay updated on the new ones. And also, by putting your comments, I would like to know also suggestions about the future episodes. What would you like to see here? Which universities, which institutions would you like to see? So I'm going to be looking at the comments, so keep your suggestions going for the future episodes. So for today's episodes, it is again an institution from Canada, because who does not love Canada? It is a great place, a great destination for international students. But for today's episode specifically, it is for everyone who is practical and really wants to pursue technical education. So for today's episode, you will be learning all about getting a technical education that prepares you to quickly enter the job market. Also, we will be talking about saving money on tuition fees, and we will be discussing the post-graduation work permit, and we will talk about that more during the live. All of all of that is at a breathtaking place surrounded by mountains and ocean in Vancouver. And the institution is Vancouver Community College. So let's really dig more into that and know who really is Vancouver Community College by watching this video.
When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a chef.
I wanted to be a nurse.
A hairdresser, fashion designer.
I wanted to be a rock star. The overall environment and atmosphere was unlike any other school I had been to before. It was very relaxed, very open.
Right when you step into class, you'll definitely make a few friends right away on day one. Everyone there is there to learn and also for personal growth.
The other students that I'm learning with constantly force me to raise the bar.
It feels more like you're part of a team than you are part of a student body.
I don't like to be bored in one place. I like things to be constantly changing and to be constantly challenged. So it's not just classroom work. They put us in lab and they put us out in the real world and they give us realistic expectations of what the job is going to actually look like.
I do feel that having a physically smaller campus, smaller classrooms, fewer people, it's a lot more intimate. You actually get a chance to know your classmates and your colleagues as opposed to just being a part of a giant crowd of people. VCC is the catalyst to your potential.
I'm going to be a chef.
A dental hygienist.
A musician.
A baker.
A nurse.
A graphic designer. I'm finally going to be a mechanic.
And I'm on my way there because of VCC.
Amazing. And now it's finally time to introduce our guests for today. So please, everyone, welcome Angela. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Lynn. It's great to be invited here. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone from all over the world. I've been watching the chat and I see that you're from literally everywhere in the world. So thank you for joining.
Yes, exactly. It's so exciting to see people from all around the world. And I just want to share, I saw here Lindy, she really shared a lot of information about where is she from and what she wants to study, and really a lot of information that I like to see more of in the comments. Share your plans, your future plans to study abroad and everything about you. It really makes me happy to see you talk more about yourself and for me to get to know you better. So yes, Angela, thank you so much for joining. And I would like to start by giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself and also introduce your position at VCC.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Hi, my name is Angela Liang. You can see that I am Asian. I immigrated to Canada about 23 years ago when I was a teenager, so I gave away my age. But yeah, I've been living in Canada for more than half of my life. And it is a very great place to live. I live in Vancouver, and Vancouver is at the west coast of the country. Really great weather, mild weather. It's not very cold in the wintertime and not very hot in the summertime. And also, the college that I work for is called Vancouver Community College. We are a public funded college. We've been around for more than 55 years. And a lot of programs that we offer, like you saw from the video, are very practical. So if you are thinking about coming to Canada to study and to get a job, to settle down, Vancouver Community College is a really great choice. And the reason is because we have a very high graduate employment rate. So whatever you're studying, the chance of you getting a decent job in Vancouver is quite high. The average graduate employment rate is between 90 and 95%. And some programs have 100% employment rate. If you want a job, there's a job available for you. And those jobs are not boring and necessarily entry-level jobs. Some jobs are very in demand, high demand in our province. So it's very easy for an international student to not just study the education part of it, but put your education and your studies into practice and work in the real world and gain that Canadian work experience that is going to make you so much more competitive. Whether if you go back to your home country or stay in Canada for more work experiences. So VCC is really known for that job component. We're training people to get employed in Vancouver.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Angela, for this awesome introduction about you and also about VCC. I agree with you. I know from all the pictures that Vancouver is a great place. It is my goal, my next goal to go to Vancouver. I'm in Ontario now, but not only you guys have goals, but I have one too. I'm going to Vancouver. I'm going to all those amazing places in Canada. So why don't we start by talking about what is a community college? Because the audience know that we have universities and there are colleges, but why don't we just go more into specifics about what exactly is a community college?
So basically, all colleges are community colleges. The reason that we kept the word community in our college name is really to strengthen and really to emphasize that we're working together with people that live in our community, the community of Vancouver. So for example, we provide education to people who live in Vancouver. We provide companies with training future employees so that they don't have to spend a lot of time and money training them. We have ready to work employees for them upon students' graduation. So we also keep a very close relationship with a lot of companies, industries within the city of Vancouver and the surrounding area. So when we say a community college, it's basically we're supporting the people that live in this community of Vancouver. So the majority of our students are from Vancouver, Canadian students. They live in Vancouver, they work in Vancouver, they study in Vancouver. That's the majority of our student population. That's what a community really means. It's a really close-knit relationship that we have with the people and the industries and the businesses that are located in Vancouver.
That's really beautiful. So what would you say are the main differences between a university and a community college?
So universities usually, our understanding is that they usually offer very academic programs. They offer a lot of bachelor degrees that are academic research focused. Whereas at a community college, we offer a lot of programs that either lead to employment or they lead to a portion of the university degree. For example, you can study some courses at our college and still fully transfer them to a university. And the reason you want to do that is because the cost is usually a little bit less. You are also learning in a small classroom environment. So it's a little bit easier, a little bit more intimate. You can make more friends. You can have closer interactions with your instructors. So the main difference is usually that students are coming to a community college to either get trained to get a job, or they're getting some university classes, which they can later transfer to a university.
Yeah, that's great. So you already mentioned that universities have bachelor degrees and more academic courses. So what are the types of credentials offered at VCC?
So at VCC, the majority of our credentials are diplomas and certificates. Certificates are usually 1 year or less than 1 year of studies, and diplomas are usually 2 years of studies. We also offer a couple of bachelor degrees. Yes, we do have bachelor degrees. The 2 bachelor degrees that we offer for international students are Bachelor of Applied Music, and the other one is Bachelor of Hospitality Management. So these 2 sound, again, very applied, very practical. We also have a few post-degree diplomas. And the post-degree diplomas are designed for people who already have a bachelor degree, but they may want to learn something more practical, not necessarily research. We don't get them to write research papers or dissertations or thesis. They're really learning very specific skills so that they can work. But the training that we give them to the post-degree diploma students will be slightly different from the training that we give to college diploma students, because the level of students' calibers are different. Students are usually more professional because they already have a degree. So the 4 credentials that we offer are certificates, diplomas, a couple of bachelor degrees, and some post-degree diplomas.
Yeah, so the main difference between the university programs and the VCC is that the length of the program, it's shorter. You can save the money on the tuition, and also it's more specific skills rather than just like writing, research, and all of that. So that sounds like an amazing opportunity, guys. So So to get to know more about Vancouver Community College, we know that 95% of the students are happy with their education at VCC. So why is Vancouver Community College a great choice for international students?
So for those students who marked on their survey that they are either satisfied or extremely satisfied, we did ask them. We asked them why. Why was it that you thought you're happy with your education? So the main reason is really because whatever goals that they had before they came to VCC, for example, they have some educational goals. They want to complete a degree. So they're taking some courses at VCC to lead towards a degree. Or they're thinking about opening up their own business. So they want to learn some business and entrepreneurial skills to help them become a store owner, for example. Or they just want to get a decent job. Whatever the goals were, they were able to meet those goals with the education and the experiences that they have at our college. So students are usually telling us that because whatever I wanted to do before I came, I was able to do them with the education that you offer us. So that's why I'm happy. Now, when we ask international students why they chose VCC to study in the first place, there were different reasons. For example, they said they liked our location because we are in downtown Vancouver. We have great location, and Vancouver is one of the most livable cities in the world. We always ranked either top 1 or 2 or 3. And also because of the work eligibility that they can get upon completing our program. We are a designated learning institution that qualifies students to apply for a postgrad work permit. That's why they like to have that working eligibility. And thirdly is because of the program choices. The programs that we offer, again, are very practical. They always lead to some career or some academic goals. So it's very clear that students who come to study with us are happy with us because all these are very clearly set out goals for them to complete, which will lead them to their eventual or ultimate goals of being successful in Canada.
Absolutely. There's nothing better than having your goals satisfied. And those are all really reasons, excellent reasons to why VCC is a great choice for international students. So thank you for that. So what would you say are the unique qualities of VCC?
The unique qualities are now it's really bad for me to say this, but we're not difficult to get in. When it comes to the admissions requirements, every program has its own unique set of requirements. So some programs are requiring higher levels of English proficiency or higher levels of grades. Some programs just want you to have sufficient to come in. So take IELTS, for example. If you're using IELTS to come to our college, a lot of our programs do require 6.5, but some require 6.0, some require 5.5, and some require 5.0. So depends on what you're trying to study. A lot of programs just need you to have the minimum. You need to meet the minimum to be learning the curriculum at VCC and then to study and successfully graduate. We're not looking at your overall average to be a very high percentage because we believe that not all the students are very highly academic. They may not be straight A students, but they are interested in a particular program area. They meet the minimum requirements. Then we believe that they have the potential to be successful. So that's the first thing. It's not super difficult to get in. It's also not super difficult to graduate. I'm not saying that our programs are so easy, letting people pass every day, but if you are dedicated, if you're hardworking, if you come to classes, you're not skipping from your classes or late for your classes, chances are you can graduate successfully. And this is also the main difference between a university and a college, because at the college, usually, as long as you meet the minimum requirements to graduate, you can graduate. With some universities, I went to a university myself when I was younger, they will probably fail 1/3 or 1/3 of the class just because they need to keep the best in the class. At our college is different. We want students who are able to demonstrate that they've learned, that they've met the learning outcome to be successful, to be eligible to graduate. So as long as you know the content, as long as you do the work, you graduate without a problem. So our graduation rate is not low. It's actually quite high, not difficult to get in. very reasonable requirements to graduate, and also the tuition rates are quite competitive, quite reasonable too. The tuition rates vary depending on what you study. So it could be as low as $28,000 for 2 years to as high as $42,000 for 2 years, depending on what your interest levels are. So I think in terms of uniqueness, it's definitely the pricing structure that you can find a program that is at a lower cost for you.
Awesome. Thank you. That sounds like a great opportunity, guys. So now, why don't we move on to discussing more the programs offered at VCC? So what are some of the unique career programs offered?
Our biggest program, or actually the most popular, the most oversubscribed, most popular programs at VCC is culinary. Baking and culinary, sorry. Baking and culinary category is the most popular at VCC. We're the only public institution in the Greater Vancouver area that offers this program. You will not be able to find any other public institution that offers it. The other popular program is also hospitality management. Every year, we graduate hundreds of students who go into hotels, restaurants, golf courses, tourism agencies, and companies that are in the hospitality sector. So they really, every year, they would ask, how many students are you graduating? Can we hire them all? So it's a very long-standing program that is also very popular in our area. Technology programs are also getting very popular too, especially because Vancouver has been named the top city in North America for technology job growth. I don't know if you knew that, but we have been named twice in 2 years in a row in 2019 and 2020 as the top growth city in terms of technology jobs. Amazon is building office building just right across from our downtown campus, and lots of technology jobs available. So we are also offering some technology programs. We have computer systems, we have computer science and software, we have network technology and network administration. So everything that you can think about in terms of technology, we offer quite a lot of them too. And we also have some business programs. For example, we have a Canadian business management post-degree diploma that focuses on business administration skills, but include a practicum in Vancouver. So this program was the one that I was talking about that had a 100% employment rate upon graduation, because we prepare students really well for employment. So business, technology, culinary, baking, we have some design programs. But yeah, the most popular programs I would say are the business and culinary and hospitality.
Those are amazing options. Thank you for that. And I see in the comments that Nisha, you asked if there are any psychology department in VCC. So Angela, if you would like to answer that, maybe anything related to counseling, psychology.
We have some part-time counseling courses, but as an international student, you will have to study at a full-time program. If your goal is to graduate from a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology, you can learn some psychology courses with us in the first year of the university. So we do offer those first-year university classes. But if you're thinking about going to counseling, usually you need a degree to be able to further your education in counseling. So you can study part of the degree with us and then transfer out. So yes, we do have some psychology courses, and it seems to be very commonly asked, but psychologists or counselors need to have usually master degrees. So if you just graduated from high school, or you're about to graduate from high school and you're thinking about a future career as a psychologist or a counselor, start with a university degree, and we do have some courses that can get you to a university in the future.
Awesome, thank you. So choosing a program is, of course, one of the earliest steps that the students have to do, and it is not an easy decision to take. So what do you think should a student consider when choosing a program?
I get asked this question almost every single time I talk to a prospective student. They will always say, here's my transcripts. What do you recommend? And I always want to ask them, it feels like I'm doing a counseling session. I always ask them, what do you like? What is your purpose in life? What makes you happy? So you need to think about it, because if you're spending time and money in investing in education abroad, you want to be able to link that to a career. You want to be able to choose a program that has a high graduate employment rate in the career that you want to work in, because you're going to spend a lot of time working after you graduate. So you want to do something that you like. So first of all, what is your preference? What would you like to do in life? What do you want to work in terms of the industry? And once you have a few ideas of what you like to do, then you work backwards. What programs can get you that position? For example, you want to work as a project manager because you like to know how a project is initiated. You like to know how what kind of criteria you need to help a business in terms of making their systems more efficient. So you want to work as a project manager. Then we do have a project management program. So take a look at it and see if that's something that you like. If it is, and it looks like the employment rate is pretty high, then you look at the admissions requirements. Do you meet the admissions requirements? If you don't, what else can you do to upgrade to make sure that you meet the admissions requirements? But the first question is always, what do you want to do in terms of work? And to do that kind of job, what kind of programs can you study to get there? I think that will be the first and foremost question. Because if you're changing a program after you're already admitted, it costs you money, it costs you time. It's just not the best thing to do. So always think about what you like. And if it's something that you like, even if it's very difficult to study, you will want to go through it because it's your passion, right? So that would be my recommendation.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So do you offer any internship opportunities at VCC?
So the practical components of the programs are usually program specific. So a lot of our programs do offer practicum, or they're not necessarily called internships. They're called practicum or work experiences, where for the most part, students are not getting paid because as a public college, we want to make sure that students are finishing their program in the shortest amount of time available. So that includes the practicum portion. So the practicum in our programs are usually quite short, between a few weeks to maybe 4 months maximum. And we don't want students to go more than that without getting paid. So that's why the practicum lengths are usually a little bit shorter compared to private colleges. And those practicum for programs that have practicum, a lot of times our instructors or the program areas will pair them up with their preferred employers. I'll give you an example. For culinary arts programs, learning to become a professional cook, there are different places that students can work. For example, you can work in a fine dining restaurant, a 5-star restaurant. You can work in a hotel kitchen. You can work in a hospital. Yes, hospitals also have cafeterias and they have meals to provide to the patients. So there are different places that you can work. You can choose which is your top and second and third choices. And depending on the grades, depending on the performance of a student, then the instructors will say, you know what, I think your personality might suit a hotel better, or your personality and your characteristics and your grades and your professionalism might get you into a 5-star restaurant. So it's usually students working with their program areas to find out what is the best way for them to practice what they learn. So yes, a lot of our programs have practicum, especially the practical programs like culinary design programs. Many of them also have practicum. Hospitality have work experience component in it. Canadian business management has a 4 months practicum. So many of them do.
That's amazing. It is really a great way for the students to get more work experiences, which is gonna truly benefit them later on after they graduate. So that is really great. So you already mentioned a little bit about how the students can go to a college and then transfer to university. So can students transfer to a university after VCC, but will they also get any credits for the university?
Yes, so the transfer programs at VCC work like this. You study a year with us, or 2 years. We are going to have a new program in computer science and software systems. That will be 2 year program. But currently we have the 1 year program. So you study year one of the 4 year university with us. And of course, depends on which universities you want to transfer to. Some university will require really high grades. Some university will require normal, like general average level grades. Some university will say it's a competitive selection process. So if we have 100 students and they all have really good grades, then the average grade that you need will be a little bit higher. So it depends on the grades that you need to be admitted to the university. But once you are admitted, all the credits that you have studied with you can transfer, usually. But say, for example, if you decide to study biology in university, but you only took chemistry courses with us, then yes, you can transfer the chemistry courses over, but you may have to pick up a lot of biology courses. So it's very important for you to think about what you want to transfer to in the future, and then take the right courses at BCC, at our college, so that everything can transfer. Everything can transfer, but it can also transfer to the major that you want to graduate from. And we have advisors at our office that will be able to help you. We will discuss with you to find out what you like to study, which university, what their requirements are, and what you need to take at our college to be able to fully transfer them over. There are some universities that we have articulation agreements with. So if you decide to go to a particular university in Vancouver, and it's this particular major that you want to study, we have a program that is designed to transfer 100% over. So that's also a possibility too. So there are two choices. You either study something general and then you transfer some of it over, or you study something very specific, like engineering, first year, and then you transfer to an engineering program.
Great. Those are amazing options. Thank you. So do you have any partnerships with businesses? And how would that be beneficial for international students?
We have a lot of unofficial partnerships, and like I said earlier, we are a community college, and really being a community college is staying very close, having very close relationships with the businesses in our community. So I'll take hospitality, for example. Our hospitality management diploma program is graduating a lot of students every year. So every February, we have what we call an interview week or industry week. And what does that week do? So a week in February, a four-day week, because there's a long weekend in there. So for the 4 days, we invite businesses from Vancouver and surrounding cities that are in the hospitality industry to come and meet with our students in person. So that's before the pandemic. During the pandemic, it's done virtually. But before the pandemic, they will come to our college. They will have very quick meetings with our students. Our students can sign up to meet with 4 or 5 employers during that week or more if they're able to. And then what they're doing is interviews. These are not practice interviews. These are actually real interviews where employers can talk to students who are looking for work and decide if they want to hire them on the spot. So what kind of jobs are being offered? There can be seasonal jobs. Like, for example, we have hotels and restaurants from Whistler. Do you know where Whistler is?
I don't think so.
Okay, Whistler is a world-renowned ski resort. It's also where our the Winter Olympic 2010 years and years ago in Vancouver was held. So it's a ski resort. It's about 2 to 3 hours driving from Vancouver. So we have hotels coming down all the way from Whistler to hire people to work there during the ski season. And then there are also a lot of part-time jobs and full-time jobs available during the students' scheduled break. So that's a good example of how we work with industries. What we say industry, but businesses in a particular industry that is related to their study area. We work with them very closely to make sure that our students are exposed to industry trends. They know what's happening in the hospitality industry. Like, for example, during the pandemic, how do hotels go from offering luxury services to travelers to now offering safe services for the people that need the quarantine. So there are a lot of things that students are learning on the go. And many programs on the Fridays of the week, every week, they'll have industry professionals come and talk to them about job prospects. Another example I'll give you is we have a Cad and Bim program. Cad and Bim stands for computer-aided draft and building information modeling. So this program is training drafting technicians. And they would have companies, sometimes from Australia and Ontario, of course, coming to hire our students because they know that our students are trained very well. And a lot of times with drafting work, it can be done remotely. So that's another good example of how we're working with companies to make sure our students are exposed to a lot of work opportunities.
That's amazing. And of course, we're going to talk more about working and part-time jobs and the work permit as well. But now, why don't we talk more about the campus location and the social environment at VCC? We already know that there's a great sense of, a strong sense of community there, and it's a very supporting environment. But why don't we get to know more about the campuses? So how many campuses are there for VCC, and what are some of the facilities that they have?
So the campuses that we offer for international students to study, currently we have two campuses. One campus is located in downtown Vancouver, and the other campus is about 20 minutes away by public transit. It's called the Broadway campus. So it's also in Vancouver, but just not in downtown. It's just a little bit outside of downtown area, but still in the city of Vancouver. So students don't choose which campus they go to. They will basically choose a program that they want to study, and every program has its own campus. So for example, if you study a computer systems technology program, it will be at our downtown campus. But if you study an engineering first-year university courses, you will be taking courses in the Broadway campus. So it really depends on what you decide to study. So our office is located in the downtown campus, which is in downtown Vancouver, and lots of interesting facilities on site. So I'll give you some example. Remember I said we have a culinary program and a baking program. So we have a bakery on campus. We have one restaurant, which is a fine dining restaurant offering steak dinner and grilled salmon, that kind of fine dining restaurant. We also have two cafeteria, one big one and one small one, from our culinary art students for them to practice on a daily basis. And because we have a hospitality management program, we also have another restaurant at the downtown campus where our hospitality students are learning to provide the food and beverage services and also execute their management skills. We have a cosmetology program, which teach students how to become a professional hairstylist and also an esthetician. So we have a salon and spa on campus too. So when you come to our campuses, you'll realize that you can just stay here for the whole day doing a lot of things without leaving the campus. So that's downtown. At the Broadway campus, we also have auto shops. If your car is broken, or if you need to repaint your car or change the auto glasses, you can actually bring your car over and then have them fixed at a lower cost, because our students are using that as an opportunity to work, to practice what they learn.
This sounds so fun. I was going to ask you, like, what is so attractive for international students at those campuses, but you already mentioned so many fun and attractive things. So thank you for that. So, but what about the international student services provided at VCC?
So I think the international student services provided at our college are very similar to what a lot of colleges and universities in Canada offer, because really without the students being successful, we will not have a program that can sustain. So our foremost focus is to make sure that students are happy when they're here, they are supported, they know where to go whenever there is an issue. So let's talk about academic. So if they have any questions about their programs, of course they can go to their instructors. But if they want to learn a little bit more about how to manage their study skills, or time management. We have counselors who can help them with that. Or if they're just feeling very overwhelmed during the pandemic, lots of things happening, they're feeling scared to go to the mall without their mask on, or they're just feeling very down, we have counselors for that. We also have what we call an international regulated international student immigration advisor. So what this person does is answering questions related to international students immigration. So not necessarily immigrating to Canada, but anything to do with study permit or work permit, work eligibility. We have somebody dedicated on campus to answer those questions. And of course, our international student advisors will be able to help them with study planning, course planning, or questions about medical insurance and all sorts of things. So yeah, a lot of different support services available.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm sure that sounds very reassuring for students. So now why don't we talk about the working side? So how can Vancouver Community College prepare students for employment?
Sorry, say that again.
How can Vancouver Community College prepare students for employment?
I'm glad you asked that. So remember the services that we provide. We have counselors, we have instructors. We also have what we call learning centers. So the learning centers have free tutors. They can actually tutor students on a wide array of things. And one of them is interview skills and resume writing skills, because you can have the best grades in your class. You can have a lot of volunteer or practicum experiences, but if you cannot present yourself well in an interview, or if your resume looks like it's not interesting at all, then it'll be very hard to get a job. So that's what we are trying to help our students with, is to present them well, is to help them present themselves well in an interview setting. So that's one thing. Our programs are also very practical. Even for those programs that don't have a practicum or internship, we always make sure that the curriculum or the courses that they're learning have a lot of practical case studies, real world experiences that they can have a taste on. And then thirdly, a lot of our students get their first jobs not because of they're trying to find work on the internet, but because their instructors are able to connect them to employers. I'll give you one example. We have a student who graduated in June of this year, wasn't really looking for a job because the person wanted to have some fun before starting to look for a full-time job. And then in September decided that, you know what, I'm going to start looking for a job. So what he did was he emailed the instructor. He said, hey, instructor, I'm ready to look for a job. Do you have any recommendations? So the instructor gave him two email addresses. He said, why don't you talk to these two people? So he did that. And as soon as he emailed both of them, the next day he got interview opportunities. And this person, because I knew the student very well, he told me that the first job opportunity, interview opportunity that he went to, when he went, the interview questions were so simple and they hired him on the spot. So he was talking to his instructor to say, thank you for connecting me. They hired me. And the instructor said, yes, they called me to ask about you. And I said, you are a great student. You've been always helping students out. You have straight A marks. And I think you'll be a great asset for the company. So they actually trust the instructor more than the student, of course. But because of this particular relationship that our instructors have with the industry of their expertise, they're really able to connect students with employment opportunities. And we also have a lot of companies that we work with on a regular basis. We will ask them questions such as, we're training the future hospitality professionals. What would you like to see that they learn that is not there before? Because the landscapes are changing. Hospitality industries are changing. So what would you like to see that they learn? So they will give us feedback. That way, we're really training students with the materials and the content that is going to prepare them for the real work, which is always changing. So yeah, there are a lot of things that we do, but most importantly is the connection with the industries that we have.
That is great. Thank you. So can international students work off campus while studying at VCC?
Yes. So according to IRCC, international students are eligible to work on a part-time basis when they study in a full-time program that's at least 6 months. So for a lot of our students who are in a diploma 2-year program, for example, they can work during their studies for up to 20 hours every week. Some students would choose not to work part-time, but we always recommend them to, because the more part-time work experiences they have, the more choices that they're going to have when it's about time for them to work on a full-time basis. They'll have more to choose from because they have more experiences. They'll be more competitive compared to the others.
Absolutely. So what is the post-graduation work permit?
So the post-graduation work permit, according to the Canadian government, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for international students. You can only do it once in your life. So if you already got it a few years ago, sorry, you can't qualify. But if you have never applied, you can apply for that post-graduation work permit after you graduate from an eligible institution. An eligible institution like VCC needs to be either a public institution or some private institutions that offer degree granting programs. But for VCC, as long as it's more than 8 months of full-time studies, then you are qualified to apply. It has to be full-time, has to be at least 8 months.
Perfect. Thank you. So now this is something that the students are always curious about and are always asking, the admission process for international students. So what does the admission process for international students look like at VCC?
So I mentioned a little bit earlier that our admissions requirements are different by program. So for example, if you are coming to the drafting program that I talked to you about, you need to graduate from high school, you need to have an IELTS 6.5, you need to have a math level from high school at grade 11 level with about a C or C+. If you want to learn cosmetology, for example, learning to become a hairstylist or professional esthetician, then that program only requires 5.5 IELTS, and that is it. No math, no other requirements. So it depends on the program. Now, so when you are applying to VCC, make sure that you read about the admissions requirements and provide the documents to make sure that you meet the requirements. You send in your email with your application form, with your transcripts and IELTS or Duolingo test results, and then you wait for us. We will evaluate. You don't have to get your documents evaluated somewhere else. Just send them to us as long as there's English in the transcript, or if there's no English, you need to get it certified translated. Send it to us, then we will let you know if you meet the requirements or not. If you meet the requirements, we will let you know. We'll give you an offer letter. If the program is still available, then you pay a tuition deposit to hold your seat. Then you can start to apply for a study permit. If you do not get a study permit, for example, if your study permit application is rejected and you don't want to keep trying anymore, the tuition deposit is fully refundable.
That's great. It's really nice to hear that the admission process is not very complicated. Like even if something is missing in their application, they can still send it and you will be very responsive. You will be supporting them throughout that process. So that's really interesting to know. So now more about scholarships and awards. International students are always very interested to know more about that. Does VCC offer any scholarships or awards for international students?
Yeah, we have the majority of our scholarships and awards are after you study with us. We have some entrance scholarships, but the amounts are just a little bit smaller. But we have a lot of students every year winning scholarships and awards after they are already studying with us, because one of the criteria is to see their grades at VCC and also what are they doing to help the community, for example, doing volunteer work or demonstrate their leadership skills from the program that they're studying in. So a lot of those scholarships and awards are from after they already study with us, but we do have some entrance scholarships. I think one of the questions that I saw in the chat earlier was about fully funded scholarships. Currently, we don't have any scholarships that will fully fund your program. It'll just be a small portion, probably just a couple $1,000s, 3,000 maximum usually for the scholarship or award. Whereas the tuition for the 1 year could range between 15,000 and 20,000 per year.
Great, thank you. So, which ways are available to help international students fund their studies? I know you mentioned before that they have the opportunity to have part-time jobs, but are there any other ways that VCC helps students, like loans or bursaries?
So usually loans are for Canadian students only, but there are some bursaries that international students can apply to. But bursaries are basically in very like emergency situation. For example, at the very beginning of the pandemic, we had international students apply and receive the bursaries from an emergency fund. For example, they were working part time or full time during their break, and they lost their job all of a sudden because everything was closed at the very beginning of the pandemic. They couldn't pay the rent, or something happened. So that was a possibility. But for the most part, students are usually financing their education or their living expenses by their part-time jobs during their studies or full-time job during their scheduled break. And we do have a lot of connections with different job opportunities, especially through the program areas, through their instructors.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. So that was it from my side, from my questions. But of course, we're going to take more questions from the students, from the comments. So please, guys, keep your questions coming. This is now your time. We're going to be answering all the questions. I can see a question here from Laura. So she's asking, would I be able to take a short course related with early childhood education? She's a psychologist and she would like to travel to Canada for a few months.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for the question. Early childhood education at VCC and also in BC, it's not a short-term program. With us, it's a full-time 2-year program. So if you're only having a few months to Canada, that wouldn't be something that's available to you. And if you want to gain the Canadian work experience, you want to maximize your post-graduation work permit, it'll be better to study the 2 years of ECE, apply and get your 3-year post-graduation work permit so that you can practice your ECE skills in Canada too, and bring it back to your country. That would be my recommendation. But long story short, we do not have any short-term courses for the ECE program.
Awesome, thank you. So another question from Precious, asking if there are any theater art department at VCC.
Hi, Precious. We do not have, I shouldn't say that. We do not have anything that's directly related to theater performance, although our dance program and our music program are very much focused on performing arts. So if you're in the music program, for example, you will need to perform in an auditorium on a weekly basis to practice, and then there will be people coming from all over town to come and watch you practice. If you're in a dance program, you'll learn to dance, but we don't really have any acting classes if that's what you're looking for.
Great, thank you. Rajib is asking if he can get any MBA in VCC.
So Rajib, that's a really good question. For MBA, I believe you are hoping to work in Canada or maybe in your country in business administration. That's why you want to study a master's program in business administration. We don't have an MBA designation, but what we offer is post-degree diplomas. So the main difference between a post-degree diploma and an MBA is usually post-degree diplomas are more practical. Sorry, my lights just turned off. Post-degree diplomas are more practical, whereas master programs usually are more academic. They will want you to write a dissertation or a thesis, a research paper, whereas for the post-degree diplomas, they are not. There's no requirement for a dissertation project like that, but you will be required to do a practicum. So we do have a business management program focusing on Canadian employment. Lots of students in that program are able to get jobs even before they graduate, and that is 100% employment. So no, it's not a master's program, but it is a post-degree program that need you to graduate from university first. It's focusing on getting you a job in business administration, finance, marketing, or anything business related in Canada. And so far, our students, everyone was able to get a job.
Perfect. Thank you. So many students are also asking about the SAT and the IELTS exams. They're asking if they need to have the SAT, IELTS, TOEFL in order to be eligible to apply for VCC.
So we do not require any SAT. I think that's an American school requirement. So we don't require SAT. We do require English proficiency proof. So for English, we accept IELTS, IELTS. We accept TOEFL. We also accept Duolingo English test because IELTS and TOEFL testing centers during the pandemic have closed in many cities. So at that time, we decided to accept Duolingo temporarily. So we are continuing to accept Duolingo English test. So that is another option in addition to IELTS and TOEFL.
Awesome, thank you. Jessica here is asking if you have any environmental programs.
We do have some courses in environmental, but not long enough to have a program. I know that there are a lot of discussions, COP26, a lot of discussions about saving the planet, getting something that's very environmentally friendly. So that's a really good program. We do have some courses in those in our university, first year university transfer classes, but those are not a credential. You'll take some courses maybe in your science program about environmental studies, but that's not a program.
All right, thank you. Keep your questions coming, guys. I'm just trying to find them because there's just so many, so they keep going up. So a question from Emeka: any master's program for medical students?
Well, first of all, we don't have any master's programs, and if you're a medical student, if you want to continue studying something related to medical, we don't have anything like that. But we do have we have some students who graduated from medical related programs in their country and then come to our project management program, for example, and business. So if you're ever thinking about changing careers to a different field, we do have a lot of programs available, but not a master program for medical related field.
All right, thank you. So Israel is asking, you mentioned having partnerships with businesses. Are there any with labs for Associate of Sciences?
No. Well, the associate degrees that we offer, they are not necessarily geared towards employment. So that's a big difference. If you want to study something that leads to employment, you need to study something more vocational or practical. For associate degrees, they are half of a degree, half of a bachelor degree. So the courses that you're going to learn are going to be very academic courses. For example, you'll be learning science, like chemistry or biology or physics. You'll be learning some English courses. You'll be taking some liberal arts courses such as psychology. So those are not really leading to employment. They're leading for you to graduate from us first and then go into a degree, bachelor degree in a university, but not necessarily job oriented. So I think your question about partnerships with labs, not necessarily. Sorry, that's we do have our own science labs if that's what you're asking for science courses.
Okay, thank you, Angela. So Carmen is also asking, for how long can I work in Canada with the post-graduation work permit?
That is a very good question. So the post-graduation work permit length, minimum is 8 months. If you study in an 8 months program, full-time and graduate successfully, maximum is 3 years. Now it's tricky. For the 3-year maximum length, if you graduate from a diploma of 2 years, you qualify for a 3-year work permit. If you graduate from a 4-year degree, you also qualify for a 3-year work permit. That is why college diplomas are very popular these days, because you only need to study 2-year full-time. You can also qualify for the maximum length, which is 3 years in Canada. So that depends on your study, but usually it's between 8 months and 3 years.
Great. Thank you so much, Angela. Your answers were really very they were very useful and helpful for the students. So thank you so much for the amazing answers. And I just want to give you the opportunity to tell the students any last messages or words or any advice for them about studying abroad.
So I first of all wanted to thank you everybody for joining. It's a really eye-opening experience for me to see so many questions coming in. I know that a lot of you are interested in studying in Canada, maybe in Vancouver, maybe at VCC. So I want you to know that you need to do a lot of research, and this kind of platform gives you a lot of advantages because you can actually ask questions, you can think about what needs to be asked, and then you can get the answers directly from institutions. So I'm really glad that you joined us today. If you had any more questions, feel free to contact us directly. Our email address is study@vcc.ca. Quite easy. Study, STUDY, @vcc.ca. So just drop a question in an email, and then we will be able to answer your questions. And last but not least, I hope to see you in Vancouver, and hope that you're all staying safe and healthy during this time.
Thank you so much, Angela. And yes, guys, please don't hesitate to get in touch with the VCC. Here's the study at vcc.ca on screen for you to save it and contact them if you need any questions. Thank you so much, Angela. Everything went really nice and amazing, and your answers were really great. Thank you so much for that. And we hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
So yes, guys, that was it for today. Thank you so much for sending your questions, and I really hope that they were. I really hope that you got a lot of important information out of this session. So we really want to see you more in the next live sessions as well. So thank you so much for supporting us, and please, if you need any questions, contact us on our Instagram account. We have a lot of fun and important content there that we're always posting on our Instagram, The Student World. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon. Bye.